With this walk, it came into play, I guess, when those 215 unmarked graves were found.
Residential school survivors and members of Fox Lake Cree Nation are walking over 1,000 kilometers to raise awareness about the truth of residential schools in Canada and to keep pressure on governments to continue the search of all former residential school sites for the unmarked graves of Indigenous children who never made it home. Among those walking today, Councillor Sophie Lockhart. She says the walk itself is symbolic. Each step she takes is for the thousands of Indigenous children who were stolen from their families and never returned home. Lockhart herself says she ran away from a residential school 3 times as a child.
You know, there's a lot of survivors that are telling their stories, you know, and there's still lots that haven't because they're afraid of the outcome, you know. Reopen wounds and stuff. I think that's why a lot of people are afraid to talk about their experiences.
Lockhart, along with others, started the walk in Gillam and will be ending it on the steps of the Legislative Building in Winnipeg on September 30th to coincide with Orange Shirt Day and the new federal National Day for Truth and Reconciliation.
I encourage everybody to come to the Legislative Building on September 30th and listen to what speakers have to say.
The crowd has been really good and stuff. So I like the part that we're actually promoting, actually bringing awareness to this. So as you can see, a couple of people just driving by there. So.
Vehicles passing by honked and waved in support of those walking, and among those traveling by foot is Chief Maurice Beardy of Fox Lake Cree Nation. Chief Beardy says he thinks it's important Canadians reflect and educate themselves on September 30th about the pain and suffering inflicted on those who survived the residential school system and in turn passed on much of that trauma to their children and home communities. Beardy also wants Canadians to think about the thousands of children who were stolen from their families and never came home.
Help support the cause and keep pressure on all levels of government to bring awareness to this.
I want to be a part of something like this.
George Beardy is from York Factory First Nation. He found out about the walk and knew it was something he had to participate in. Beardy says the horrific discovery of unmarked graves is something the Indigenous community has known about for generations. Beardy hopes as more honest dialogue begins about the truth of residential schools, now with a federally recognized holiday, it will help Indigenous people feel comfort that Canadians finally believe what they have been saying all these years is true.
People are starting to realize, yeah, those stories that have been told are true.
In St. Laurent, Manitoba, Mark Neufeld, City News.